What sound is it? Who knows? But I think it's funny to start off my videos with a noise. Howdy, 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 nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. The fan is not in the window, and the wind is partly shut. The wind? The window is partly shut. I have no idea what I actually said, because it's not even supposed to hit 70 today. So thumbs up. I think we're finally hitting fall weather now that it's, almost October. Yay! Oh boy, I got up late. It is 8:33. It was 7:30-ish when I finally got out of bed. I finally went, I heard too much, opened my eyes, and I had my alarm clock actually set on the side of my bed. So all I had to do is open my eyes, and there's the alarm clock right over there. And yeah, it was about 7:30-ish. So this move, I end up a lot of nights working and getting stuff is moved as best I can until about 1 o'clock in the morning. Because I can't do it all in one go. I have to do it in small bits and chunks. Because of the nerve compression with my spinal stenosis, I can only do so much before everything hurts so much. And I do not want to lose any more function than I have. The amount of sensory loss I have in this arm and hand as compared to over here is almost frightening. I mean, they have a tool to determine, because they poke you with it, and then they ask you, does this hurt? She was wedging it into these fingers, and I was going, I'm not sure. She poked this hand, and it was, ow! So yeah, there's a lot of sensory loss, and I don't want to lose any more. Yay! So I work in bits and chunks throughout the day. My bedroom is almost empty except for things like my bed. I still have parts of the bed frame that I'm trying to get rid of in there. And then smaller bits of furniture and stuff. And of course my sleep apnea machine. Past that, it's almost empty. This room here is almost empty. I have these hamster cages here that I've just been using to put stuff on. I've got a small craft table that I put my consoles and such on there. A desk-like thing in front of me that I put my monitors on. A smaller table and stuff here. Those bookcases, that's it. That's why the room sounds very, very echoey. There's nothing in here to absorb the sound waves anymore. Yay! And so, oh boy, yeah, my arm was spasming. I have it set on a pillow, and I try to hook my hand on the far end of the pillow so that if it spasms, it pulls into the pillow. Yeah, I woke up today, it was up around like this again, and the pillow was holding up my elbow. Ow. But I smoked a pre-roll and took my gabapentin. The pre-roll, cannabis, it goes to work right now. And then the gabapentin goes to work about 45 minutes after you take it. 45 minutes to an hour and a half to 2 hours. So cannabis is right now because it is delivered through your lungs, and then your blood only takes 60 seconds for all of your blood to flow through your entire body. So thumbs up for that. Now for my list of stuff here. The one quick thing I want to talk about is conservatives and Republicans in the United States have been trying to push about how trying to keep all this LGBTQ stuff away from kids is what we're trying to do. Yeah, right. But we're just trying to protect the kids, so they're going after the schools. So now look at libraries in Florida, school libraries, where they've emptied out all the shelves because they don't dare put anything out there because they might get sued. And then there's colleges that have pulled courses from Florida because it's illegal in the state now. You can't talk about gay stuff. You can't talk about black people and their history because in Florida it's illegal. And as Somebody else online, Bo the Fifth Column, pointed out when people from Florida try to come out of Florida to get jobs, who's going to want to hire them? When you graduate high school in Florida, if you go to another state, you're going to have to take another college class to learn what you should have learned in high school so that you can be hired, so that you can go to college. You're going to have to take college classes before you can go to college if you live in places like Florida. Problem is, that's what they want. If you're uneducated, you're very easy to manipulate. And as the Republicans themselves have said over the past 50 years, when people vote, Republicans don't get into office. The fewer people vote, the more Republicans get into office, because when you have fewer people voting, then those people, people whose skin isn't white and people who don't have money can't vote, so Republicans get in because rich white people get to vote and everyone else doesn't. And so Republicans get into office. So, with all this, there was, I just heard about today, and it's going to, this really backfired on them bad and it's going to hurt them, but in a town in Kentucky, there was a library where 2 librarians were fired because a temporary, over the summer employee at the library was offended by an LGBTQ plus display. And so they complained that they don't want to see this because this is awful stuff. We need to get it off the shelves to protect everybody from it. And so they yanked the display and they fired the 2 people. It wasn't an LGBTQ plus display. It was an autism display. The 2 people who put it up were autistic people. And it was a display about people think differently, but we all think we're all people. And it had nothing to do with being LGBTQ plus, which shows that, again, as another person was talking about, it has nothing to do with protecting the kids. It has everything to do with erasure. You don't get to exist. You don't get to be talked about. We don't put up any displays about you. Anything that even reminds us of you has to be taken down and destroyed. So that's joyous. It's great to live in the United States. I mean, we already have stuff like, there are, in public places, no places to sit down. They've taken out park benches, they've taken out benches in public areas. If you go to like various bus stations or train stations, there's no place to sit down. And why did they take all that out? Because homeless people sometimes sleep on the benches at night. And so they take out all the benches, so there's no place for the homeless people to sleep at night, which means during the day, nobody gets a place to sit down. All the benches that we have at the local bus station here, they are not benches. They are thin slats of metal where if you look at it, this is the lengthwise. If you turn it so you're looking at it so it's this direction, they are long slits of metal, and then it's in a mushroom shape so that no one can lie down on it and sleep during the nighttime. So during the daytime, you have a very uncomfortable seat that you can put nothing down on, just so that we can hurt homeless people. So yay. Anyway though, going away from stuff like that, I am really hurting this morning, and apparently I'm feeling really political. Yeah, I've got empathy for people who are LGBTQ plus, and I have empathy for homeless people, which means it's inherently political. And if I was a bigger YouTuber with more people watching, there would be conservative people calling me a communist and more, just because I'm showing concern for people. Yeah, you used to have concern for people in the United States. If we didn't have it, there wouldn't be a United States. But now, the GOP and all that tells you you have to be a rugged individualist. A country is not built by an entire citizenry of rugged individualists. A country doesn't work if you sit back and tell everybody else in your community, go to hell. Yay! Anyway, though, I have got to call, checking my time, the SSI, the tiny village people. Now, when I've talked about the tiny village, the Veterans Village place, they are not the holdup for all this is going on. They take the paperwork and they send it to, I don't know who it is, but it's like a funding people. They do background money checks and people checks and all that on individuals. And then when they're done processing all this, they send it back to the Veterans Village people. The Veterans Village people know that everyone there is either homeless or in threat of being homeless. They're doing their best. It's the people that are out of city, like in Washington State, there's Shelton where I am, and then there's Olympia, and then there's another town, Bremerton, and Port Orchard is like a part of Bremerton, and that's where the holdup is. But one of the things they need is an income certification from Social Security. I suddenly thought of something horrible yesterday, because when we went onto the site to request an income verification letter, they are sending me in the mail my authentication code to enter into the website. When I'm done doing this, they're probably going to mail me the income verification. It's already, what day is it today? It's already the 19th? I can't even see. And I'm disconnected from time because of my ADHD. It's the 19th. On the 29th, they're coming to get my stuff here. I need a place to live. I can't wait for them to mail me the form and have it show up next week so that I can get a place to live. If my application is being held up right now because of this, I need it right now. And I don't have a vehicle. I have no ways to get to Olympia to get the SSI form. I had to try and remember what I was talking about. Good old ADHD. I have no way to get there on my own. I have to call them up today and say, you know what? Because they were saying, if you didn't get the letter with the authentication code by Wednesday, we'll drive you there to get the authentication letter. I think we're going to have to do that because I can't wait until next week for the letter to show up. So I need to call them so that we can drive 20 miles to get to Olympia, and then of course distance from here to the highway, and then once you're in Olympia, from highway to Social Security. So that's about 25 miles total, and then like 2 hours wait, get the authentication letter, and then come home. So tomorrow, if we can get it done tomorrow, it's probably going to take a good most of the day. Thumbs up, but I gotta get it done, and I need to call this old soldiers home in Bremerton, where if I don't get to go into the Veterans Village immediately or at all, apparently I can stay there at least for a time if there's room. Gotta find out if there's room. I am not set up mentally to do this kind of stuff. Having to do this entire month, I have gone more outside of my comfort zone than I have in years. And it's not a largely you're growing from this sort of thing. It's just a ow, it hurts kind of thing. Because if you've got like one hand and just half an arm because of an accident, no matter what you do or try to do, if you're picking up Legos, you're going to be using just that stump part to wedge against the Legos, whereas you got a hand to pick them up here. No matter how much you do that, it's still going to hurt. You're never going to grow a new hand. Well, that's the situation I'm in. Mentally, I can keep picking up those Legos, but I'm never going to grow another part of my hand. There's just things that you can do, but they're always going to be awful. Okay, 14 minutes in. I'm going to suddenly jump to this because I was talking yesterday how I'd learned on my cryptid part of my setting what the artisans were and how they learned what they were doing and what they were doing. Now, focuses, I've talked about this. There is cryptid energy in the setting. That cryptid energy is just energy that powers the cryptids, because cryptids are not made of normal matter. They're made of cryptid matter, cryptid energy in this setting, and thus without the handshake protocol between realities, normal people cannot interact with the cryptid world. A cryptid can interact with the normal world, and thus a cryptid could come up to you and eat you, and nobody else around you would be able to see it as you scream for help. Because with the cryptid there, cryptid activity, reality is going to go, oh, whoa, 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 no, okay, blank all this out, because it's easier just to knock out people's perceptions than it is to tear down reality and rebuild it so that there's no problems. Kick the can down the road so that there is no problem. But, trying to remember what I'm talking about. With cryptids in an urban setting, where I posit that cryptids that look like people, also that's why I say there's human or human animal or human plant. Like there's a cryptid that I talk about, Polly. She's a light cryptid, where she is a human plant cryptid, where flowering plants around her just blossom like crazy when she's around. And so wherever she travels through the city, there is just plant fertility. And then there are the artisans, or the human fungal, and they dip into the fungal mind, and where they learn to do this stuff, and as they see the world, they see all the forces and how these things are made. Now, they use and are able to interact with extra-universal and cryptid energies, because they can see how everything is made. So when they're making a focus, it's just able to take all these energies, twist them into a pattern using only what they know and how they've learned to interact with these higher levels of reality. They don't know that it's that. It's like, oh, I just do this, I click this, I do that, twist this. It's all mental, and then this happens, and then it does. But it's interaction, I can't remember what the word would be, but it's using all of these other energies, forces, extra universal things around to cause something. They're able to create patterns that they can then take and push into an object. I've talked about a couple of them. There's like boosters, which increase your cryptid presence, so that normal people who don't have a cryptid presence and thus their third eye hasn't opened, suddenly there it is. There's dampers and cloakers for cryptids who want to pass as human, brings their cryptid presence down to the human level so that they can be interacted with. And then there's also things like looky-loos and look-aways, where it's just that. It draws your attention, a looky-loo. Whatever it is, you don't know why, but you're looking at it. And then a look-away, of course, is if they plant a look-away on an abandoned house, that abandoned house can stay there for years, occupied by cryptids, possibly decades, even hundreds of years, because you look up there at that abandoned lot and your eyes and your attention slides away. And then you're thinking about as something else as you look away from the look-away. The artisans are able to do this because of what they're learning on the whole fungal mind thing. Now, the bad part is, I've mentioned this artifact before, taking my time, before a few times, but I'm going to talk about it again. A sword called Spell Singer, that in the setting I have is one of the most horrific, is like an eldritch horror on its own. Some artisan, a few hundred years back, very, very powerful, even before they'd gone so far as to lose their ability to interact with the normal world in any meaningful manner, had a family. But a lycanthrope ate them, and this guy wasn't able to stop them. And after that, he hated lycanthropes, specifically werewolf types. And using his abilities with his broken, shattered, rage and grief-filled mind, he made a sword, Spellsinger, specifically designed to kill werewolves. One of the most eldritch horror-like artifacts on the planet, because it wants to kill werewolves. It doesn't think. This is all mechanical process. But this sword will put out a call for, if it's no one's picking it up, if it's just sitting like in a forest, it will be putting out a call that goes further and further, harder and harder, till somebody who is susceptible to it and whose mind hasn't been shattered by this call, because weak-minded people will die because of this, they become almost an automaton walking to the sword. And when they get it and grab it, well, their minds are erased, and the sword is in charge of the body. And the sword is going to take that body, and it's going to go out and hunt werewolves. And it's got that same sort of radar going out. And it wanders until a werewolf registers on that radar, and then it goes there. And whatever gets in its way dies until it finds that werewolf and kills it. And then it becomes satiated and just drops to the floor. The body that it had been using just falls and dies finally. And then there's a week while it's just a sword. And then after that week, it starts to call out again. Now, if you get cut with this sword and you're a lycanthrope, you die. Everybody calls this thing they call it like a soul drinker. It's going to drink your soul, its ability. But this isn't really drinking your soul or anything like that on a real, actual physical level. If the blade can cut your skin and connect with any nerve cell, the energies of the blade will arc into your nervous system and burn out every single bit of neural tissue in your body. Boom! You are dead. A normal human person looking at the sword Spellsinger sees a cool looking sword. When it gets close to a lycanthrope, they can see it glow the closer it gets to a lycanthrope. If they can hear it, they'll hear it singing, and I mean close enough. They'll hear it singing the closer it gets to a lycanthrope. So it glows and it sings until it gets to the lycanthrope, and then it falls to the ground afterward when it's done. On the lycanthrope, the werewolf cryptid level, that's not just a glow and a song. That is a spotlight, as strong as a spotlight from an airport shining right into their eyes. It is so bright. And that song is a scream, a shrieking, raging scream of hunger. It's terrifying if you're a lycanthrope to not be able to see and to hear that loud shriek until you're burned out and dead. Spellsinger is a terrifying sword because it will keep out that call for someone to get it until someone gets it, and the call gets stronger and stronger and stronger until someone grabs it. More and more people lose their minds. More and more people die around the sword until someone goes and gets it. Nobody can go and just grab it and put it away, because somebody's going to go and get it, no matter what you do. Thumbs up. And even though I don't have a list up here, I want to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons, these beautiful and awesome people that aren't up here on a list because I'm editing on my PlayStation and they can only do so much. They help to keep me and my aging pet alive. Thank you so much. You are beautiful and awesome people. It is appreciated. And thank you each person that has donated to my GoFundMe. Oh my gosh, it is appreciated. I got the end racing at me like a freight train, and there's so much money I have to spend. Oh, thumbs up for that. Anyway, though, it is greatly appreciated, each and every one of you. I'm also going to go through, after I turn off my spotlight here, and thank each and every person that has left me a comment in the past 24 hours. It's never many anymore. but anything more than 0 is appreciated. Thumbs up and thank you. And I mean, we have Jesse Koskinen. It is always good to see you in the comments, my friend. Definitely thumbs up. Appreciate it. We have Crystal Izette. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that, but thank you very, very much. It is appreciated, definitely. Jayy, and boy, oh, if you're working in game development and you have this debacle with Unity going on, I am so sorry for everybody. You take care and thank you. Good to see you in the comments. There is PILIBODONNCHU, who's from Ireland, who is referring to a song that I had done with some suggestions for music. And then there is Ginger, and looks like Cookie, but COEKEZ, Ginger Cookies. Thumbs up and thank you, appreciate it. They'll never know I love this because it's in reference to a little peep reaction video I did. And that is it. Thank you, each and every person that left me comments. You get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, only for a very, very short period of time. Thumbs up and thank you. Well, hokey smokes, I got phone calls to make and I got stuff to move. Oh, and my upper lip is just itching. I love that when it happens when I'm doing something. But I gotta stop. Try and move what's left in my bedroom and the stuff that I can't move myself. Hopefully be able to get some help. Finish moving stuff in here. Same deal, because I don't know if I can move these on my own. What with all this going on and my back, hokey smoke, my lower back and my back injury, yeah, the injury is largely healed up. There is, residual damage, but I have chronic pain, horrific. I mean, good golly, Miss Molly. Joy. And hopefully you can get done the things that you need to get done. That would be cool, but if you can't, don't beat yourself up. Survival is important. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is indeed a very, very good thing indeed. So, I think I double said. Oh, I wanted to talk about this too. So, if you've watched this far, you get to hear the story, and if you haven't, then you don't. I've talked before about how I lost a pipe because I had 2 of my pipes up here on this desktop, and one of them vanished. I had 2 tubes of denture paste up here on my table. This morning, they're all gone. They're nowhere. Nowhere. I had to find this one to be able to get my dentures to be glued in today. I have no ideas because I didn't move this stuff. I don't know where it is. It just went away. Thumbs up. Just like the other stuff that's been going away. Anyway, though. Here I am at 28 minutes. Hand in a high contrast position. I will see you later. I've been trying to do extra videos. Yesterday I slept most of the day. It sucks. Stress is taking such a toll on me, and I hate it. I want to do videos because I enjoy making videos whether or not people actually watch them. So